Picture this. It's a clear morning at Arlington, and the guard at the tomb doesn't move an inch. His boots make a beautiful sound. Then, out of nowhere, a loud and rude SWAT team shows up, and their leader shoots the guard in the leg with a taser. People gasp, but the soldier doesn't move, fall down, or stop marching toward the unknown. People are surprised. There are soft sounds in the air. What kind of guy can take a hit like that and not break? They don't realize that a 4-star general is already on his way to the plaza and is watching from the shadows. He is going to tell everyone what this area and the tomb guard mean. Before we get on with this great story, please remember to like this video and subscribe. Please also let us know where you are watching from in the comments. And if you still think that honor, bravery, and sacrifice are vital, please help us remember them. The sun has just come up over Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia, and it's a lovely fall morning. There is a thin layer of mist over the white headstones, which look like they stretch on forever. The air is fresh and pure. They lay down like peaceful warriors, each one remembering a life that was lost for a greater cause. The most important feature is the tomb of the unknown soldier. It looks like this sad marble slab is holding up history. Families, veterans, and school kids are already coming to this place where words don't work, and silence screams louder than any voice ever could. Sergeant Daniel Carter, also known as Danny, is standing watch under the marble arch. He is 28 years old and a member of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, which is also known as the Old Guard. He was chosen to be a tomb sentinel. Danny isn't very tall, maybe 5'10", but he walks like he's made of iron. His uniform is well pressed, and the creases are sharp enough to cut bread. He holds his M14 rifle steady in his white-gloved hands and stares at a place that only he can see. He walks 21 steps, stops, turns around, and walks 21 steps back. It's not just a march, it's a pledge to remember the soldiers who never came home. Danny knows what it's like to make sacrifices. He was in the Middle East for 2 tours and saw things that most people can't even imagine. A roadside bomb killed half of his squad and left a scar on his left forearm. He doesn't talk about it or post about it on social media. To him, the real heroes are the ones who didn't get to tell their stories, the ones who are buried under that marble. That's why he's here. That's why he volunteered for this duty. It's not about glory, it's about giving a voice to the voiceless. Today, the crowd is quiet out of respect. A dad holds his daughter's hand and points at Danny, whispering about honor. An older veteran in a faded army cap watches with tears in his eyes, remembering friends who didn't make it back. A group of high schoolers, who are usually loud and distracted, stand quietly with their phones down, feeling like they're part of something bigger. Click, click, click. Danny's boots generate a sound that echoes across the plaza. 21 steps, a pause and a turn. It's like the heartbeat of the country itself. But that rhythm is about to be shattered. 3 black SUVs pull up across the plaza, their tires crunching on the gravel path. They shouldn't be here. Arlington has strict rules, and random cars don't just pull up to the tomb. The door of the lead SUV swings open, and Lieutenant Mike Brennan, 38, a SWAT team leader from a local police department, steps out. He's broad-shouldered, dressed in tactical gear, and has a swagger that says he's used to being the toughest guy in the room. 4 more SWAT officers get out behind him, all wearing vests, holsters, and tasers on their belts. They are apparently here for some kind of joint training exercise that was approved by higher-ups. But the way they walk reveals that they don't care much about the rules of this location. Brennan looks across the square, and the morning light reflects off his mirrored sunglasses. He finds Danny in the middle of the march and smirks. He whispers to his crew, loud enough for tourists nearby to hear, "Man, look at this guy. Is he a toy that winds up?" Officer Jenna Torres, who is younger than the other cops, doesn't find it funny. She goes around nervously and stares at the audience, but she doesn't say anything. The tourists are walking about and look nervous. A park ranger standing at the rope barrier moves forward and says in a calm but firm voice, "Sir, this is a restricted area. No one who isn't allowed can go past this point." Brennan doesn't stop to present his badge. "Lieutenant Mike Brennan, Tactical Response Unit. We're here for work joint ops training. We got the go-ahead from the top." The ranger stops and looks at his iPad for a second. "Sir, I don't have any record of—" "Hey, calm down," Brennan says, cutting him off. "We're just taking a peek around. Not a problem." He walks beyond the barrier, and his crew follows him. The crowd moves away from the shark like water. Brennan stops a few steps short of Danny, who is standing still at the end of his march with his rifle at his side, and his eyes straight forward. Brennan turns his head to get a better look at him, as if he were a carnival ride. "So this is it, huh? The big event?" A guy in a fancy uniform walking back and forth like a robot. What's the point? Are you protecting a ghost or something? Danny keeps his eyes open. His body is tense, and his face is like stone. After 21 seconds, he turns perfectly like a metronome, and starts his next set of steps. Click, click, click. Brennan laughs again, but this time it's a lot louder. Come on, man, you don't say anything? Don't move unless the script says to? He pulls a protein bar out of his pocket, unwraps it, and eats it with a lot of noise. I bet I could wave this in your face and you wouldn't even flinch. Did you learn how to be a statue? The ranger goes closer and talks more sternly. Sir, you're in the way of a ceremonial detail. Please step back. Calm down, man, Brennan says as he waves him away. I'm just making sure the guy is paying attention. Allies, right? He smiles and glances at his coworkers. Everyone is on the same team, he says. I'll bet you $20 he's sleeping under that hat. People in the crowd are getting upset. A mother pulls her child closer and asks, why is he being mean to the soldier? Disrespectful punk, an old man in an army cap says to himself. Jenna Torres moves again, holding her taser. She nervously looks back and forth between Brennan and the crowd. She knows this isn't right, but she can't stand up to him yet because she's not high enough in rank. Brennan's smile changes into something tougher. He doesn't enjoy being ignored, and Danny's quiet is getting on his nerves. You know, he says as he gets closer to the march line, this whole thing is a joke. You're out here dressing up while real cops and soldiers do their jobs. He taps his head. You think this will impress anyone? A guy who can't even move? Danny walks 21 steps, stops, and then turns. He doesn't move, but his eyes stay on him. Brennan's jaw gets tense. Okay, fine. Let's see how tough you really are. He takes off the black and yellow taser and holds it up like a prize. Just a little test, he adds loudly enough for everyone to hear. Training exercise. Not a big deal. The ranger jumps forward and yells, Sir, you can't. Not enough time. Brennan takes aim and fires. The taser darts hit Danny in the thigh, just below the shiny belt on his suit. The electric buzz is strong and nasty in the morning air. Danny's body gets taut, and he holds the gun so tightly that blood pours through his white glove and stains it red. He clenches his jaw, yet he doesn't fall. He doesn't scream. He doesn't change his mind. The crowd gasps. Mommy, he hurt him, a kid shouts. The veteran with the cap starts to march forward with his fists clenched, but he pauses because he knows he can't go past the line. Brennan steps back and grins as if he had won something. See? The statue is still there. You think you're tough, huh? His crew laughs nervously, but Jenna's face is pale. That was too much, Mike, she adds. It's a taser, Jenna, Brennan replies, shrugging. Not much voltage. He's okay. Look at him. Danny looks fine, or at least he looks fine. He is still standing, his eyes focused on the area that can't be seen, and his rifle is steady. The taser darts hang from his thigh, and a dark burn mark spreads across his blue trousers. But his face is a mask of discipline, and his body is a monument to duty. People aren't quiet out of respect anymore. They're shocked, like the air before a storm. A ranger at the nearby security station presses a button that says Urgent Incident. The radios crackle. The situation is no longer just a small problem. It's now a crime against something very vital. There is already someone else in the cemetery coming toward the square. This individual has been able to fix things for decades. It feels like hours have passed since Danny's blood started to flow through his glove. He starts his next march. Click, click, 21 steps. Stop, turn. As he walks through the pain like it's nothing, the crowd is stunned. The taser's sting is still there, but Danny is thinking of the soldiers who are buried in the tomb. They went through worse than a shock and never came home. He's not here for himself. He's here for them. Brennan is still talking, trying to fill the silence with noise. Come on, man. You felt that, didn't you? It's not a bad thing. His voice is becoming louder, but it's also starting to crack. Jenna's team isn't laughing anymore. Jenna is staring at the ground and her hand is twitching like she wants to say something, but can't find the words. People are paying more attention to Danny than to Brennan. Someone in the headgear remarks, that boy's got more guts than all of them put together, and everyone can hear it. General William Hayes, a 62-year-old four-star general in the United States Army, comes from the Memorial Amphitheater. He walks into the plaza, tall and with silver hair. His uniform is so crisp that it could stand on its own. His face is weathered but calm, and his eyes are sharp enough to cut through steel. He's not rushing or yelling. He's just walking with a purpose that makes everyone else stop and pay attention. 2 military police officers are on either side of him, and a young assistant with a radio is following him. As General Hayes gets closer, people move out of the way. Brennan sees him and his smirk goes gone for the first time. He stands up straight and tries to look like an official. "General, sir," he says with a half-hearted salute. "Lieutenant Mike Brennan, Tactical Response Unit." "Sir, we're only doing a training exercise," he adds. "I didn't mean any harm." General Hayes doesn't return the salute. He pauses a few feet away from Brennan and looks at him with a steady gaze, as if he were looking through him instead of at him. "Explain," he says. His voice is low, but it sounds like a man who has told a lot of people what to do. Brennan stutters. "Well, sir, we're here for a joint ops drill. I was just checking to see how the guard would react. It's a good idea to make sure they know what's going on." Hayes doesn't move. "You shot a taser at a guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Is that what you mean by standard procedure?" The crowd is silent now, and everyone is looking at the general. He talks gently, but his words have a big effect. Brennan's face gets hot. "Sir, it wasn't fatal. It was a low voltage. Look at him. He's okay. He's still there." Hayes looks at the grave, not Danny. He stops for a while, as if to pay his own respects, and then looks back at Brennan. "That man is protecting the memories of the people who died for this country. You can stand here and say you're free, because men and women died without names or faces, and you thought it was okay to hit him and make a scene here?" Brennan opens his mouth and then closes it again. "Sir, I'm Officer Jenna Torres," Jenna says as she walks up. "I didn't realize he was going to do that. I'm sorry." Her voice is shaky yet clear. He glances at her and his face softens a little. "I get what you're saying, officer, but this isn't about you. Lieutenant, put your guns down right now," he urges to Brennan. Brennan considers for a second, then unclips his taser and service weapon and drops them on the ground with a loud thud. The MPs don't mind going up and taking the gear. Hayes continues, "You and your crew will be removed from our grounds. Your training privileges are on hold until your chain of command has had an opportunity to look at the full incident." Brennan's mouth drops open. "Sir, you can't. I mean, I'm part of an authorized..." Hayes pulls him off and says, "You could watch, but you couldn't get involved. You went too far, Lieutenant, and you did it in front of those who came here to pay their respects to the deceased. You did it in front of kids." He points to the throng, where the little girl from before is holding her mom's hand and looks afraid. "You did it in front of that guard, who is still on duty even though you did it." Danny has marched again. Click, click, click. He stops, turns, and stands up straight. The taser darts are still hanging from his calf. His glove is covered in blood, but his face is blank and his stance is perfect. Hayes walks over to him and stops just off the march path. "Sergeant Carter, are you okay to stay on duty?" he says so that everyone may hear. Danny's jaw jerks a little, which is the only sign that he's in pain. He says, "Fit for duty, sir," in a low, clipped voice. "Carry on, soldier," Hayes adds with a short nod. Danny turns and takes his next 21 steps. Some people in the crowd had tears in their eyes as they see him go through the pain like it's nothing. Hayes turns back to the MPs and says, "Take the lieutenant and his team to the edge. You shouldn't talk to them until the leadership says it's okay." The MPs agree, and Brennan's crew starts to move, heads down and not looking at the crowd. Brennan tries one more time to save face. "Sir, this isn't fair. I have permission from..." Hayes stops him. "You can't desecrate this ground. Lieutenant, you're done here." The MPs take Brennan and his team away, and their SUVs follow like dogs who have been told to stop barking. Jenna looks back at Danny, her face full of shame, but she doesn't say anything as she walks with her squad. Danny's boots keep making noise, but the square is quiet. There are still a lot of people there, but something has changed. They aren't just visitors anymore. They are now witnesses. The Army veteran wearing the hat gets closer to the barrier. You can hear his speech clearly, even if it sounds rough. "That boy's pinky finger has more honor than that clown's whole team." Maria Lopez, a sergeant, leaves her post as guard to take Danny's place. The switch works perfectly, showing remarkable discipline. Danny goes behind a screen that protects him from view, where a medic is waiting. He has a little limp, but he doesn't grip the medic's arm or say anything. He knows he did what he was supposed to do, and that's all that matters. General Hayes might be able to converse to people in the square. This isn't just a memorial. It's a promise to honor the soldiers who died and whose names we will never know. Sergeant Carter stood his ground today, not because he had to prove anything to that man, but because he promised those soldiers he would. That's what being strong looks like. That's what it is to be honorable. Some individuals in the crowd clap quietly, and others wipe their eyes. "Mommy, why didn't he fight back?" The little girl from earlier pulls on her mom's sleeve and says, "What is it?" "Because he's stronger than that, sweetheart," her mother replies as she kneels down and whispers quietly. "He's keeping something safe that is more important than him." Danny comes back as the sun rises. He is wearing a new uniform, and there is no indication of the taser's damage or the blood on his glove. He goes back to the march path, and behaves like nothing happened. Click, click, click. 21 steps. Stop. Turn. The crowd is quieter now and has put their phones away. You can tell they're thinking by the look on their faces. They saw something today that will stay with them. The man with the helmet can talk again, and everyone close can hear him. That man used his dignity as a weapon, and it was stronger than anything that SWAT guy had with him. A few people nod, and a boy who had been quiet the whole time takes out his phone. He isn't taking a picture. He's writing something. It could be a message or a post to a pal. Whatever it is, it has to do with what he just observed. By noon, a lot of people know what occurred. Brennan and his team are at a military base, where they will be evaluated and possibly finish their training. Jenna Torres makes an official apology and says she will learn from what happened, but the tomb is still alive. Danny keeps walking, his steps solid as always, and his sight are still on that unending point. He doesn't know that people are talking about him, or that his narrative has already passed beyond Arlington. He doesn't need to know. He doesn't want to be applauded. So listeners, I have a question for you. What should you do when someone tries to bring you down? Should you fight back or stay where you are? Is it still strong to be silent when everyone else is shouting for attention? To perform your work no matter what? Sergeant Danny Carter answered that question today. He didn't punch or yell at anyone. He just stood there, strong for the people who couldn't stand anymore. If this story made you feel the same way we did, please click the like button. Tell someone who needs to hear it, like someone who thinks being strong means being the loudest person in the room. Please leave a comment below and tell us what you think real strength is. Also, if you've ever been to Arlington and felt how heavy it was, please share your story. Hit the bell and sign up so you don't miss the next one. We have more tales of men and women who fight for a cause that is bigger than them. Remember this till then. Real power doesn't have to yell, it just stands. And when it does, even the loudest individuals have nothing to say. Have you ever gone to Arlington National Cemetery? Have you ever been near the tomb of the unknown soldier? This one will make you think about what strength really means, so please let us know what you think.